So greetings from Ho Chi Minh City and greetings from the Manor, which is one of two buildings that is here in Ho Chi Minh City. We're in a condo through AirBnB. And I also want to say a big hello from Ted. Ted is the fish. It is the pet, or as they call it, the friend of the folks that are graciously letting us stay in their place. And by graciously, I'm saying it's not free. This is an Airbnb thing. But to Hui and two of the most fantastic college students I've met in a long time. And I work at a university, so naturally I'm biased to the University of San Diego students. But these two are stellar. And they are studying marketing and business and biology, respectively. And anyway, so they're just great. And so we're here, even on the fourth floor, there's like stellar views that you can see. And if you don't know, if you can look way in the distance, the pointed building that's way down there, that's by Texco Tower, which went live, if you will, in 2010. Interestingly enough, in 2010, this building was also basically opened. There's two buildings. We're in the Manor 2, and the Manor came up, I believe, in 2007, 2008. And then this one, the second one, at the same year that by Texco was opening, this one was opening. So that's been pretty cool. I also want to show you like what, and honestly, I don't even know what we're paying. I think we're paying like $30 a night, something like that. It regardless is, it's very reasonable. And we get like a really cool, it's like almost a one bedroom, but it's basically a studio apartment. And so you can see the view's really cool. The bed is like right near the window, which was awesome. We actually left the shades open for the most part. I asked him about the fish and the direct sun on the water, because I thought, well, dude, isn't the hot water like boiling the environment for this fish? He says, no, it actually cleans the water and like oxygenates it more. So what do I know, right? So that was, once again, college student, you know, educating the professor. So it's neat too, because it's got like these two little nooks. Like I got my laptop here. We don't use the TV really, but tons of closet space. And then a second area basically for all of our stuff. Oh, and here's what's been really neat, right? So if you've done Airbnb before, you know that the gist of it, of course, is that you're renting a room initially from someone in their house. And then it's sort of transitioned to entire home is one of the check boxes you can do. And that's the one that I do, because I don't particularly want to share like a kitchen and that sort of thing, bathrooms with other people. Although I have done that once when I was in Detroit. But here, it's like entire home. So we get this entire place. But the neat thing is, it's not like by a service, right? Which is kind of transitioning, is what Airbnb, at least in my experience, it's transitioning into these people that are like, well, I have a room for rent, I'll just put it on Airbnb. No, I'll pay another service 10%, and they'll take care of it for me. And then you end up with basically like almost like a pseudo rental agreement company that you're dealing with, and not the actual person. I like the actual person. It's neat. To that point, what's been cool is that he left a whole bunch of little Post-its for us. And the one I love, and I don't know if you can see this one right there. And in fact, it may be a mirror image. So I apologize for that, and I think it actually was. But let me just read it to you, basically. It says, do not press emergency, guard, away/stay, unless you need, first bullet point, 3 security guards show up in 2 minutes, the apartment alarm goes off, and a direct call to me, thank you, with a little fish. But you know, I mean, it's a pretty sophisticated like security system, right? So they have like, and so these are the buttons that he's talking about not pressing, right? So away, stay, guard, and then emergency here, which is good to know, in case I suppose we're, what do they call those, safe rooms or strong rooms or something like that? Anyway, this is not one of those, right? But the cool thing actually is that as you check in, we have one of the RFID cards for security. And to go through the doors to get into the elevator waiting area, you press the thing, but you could also press this room number, and it would display the camera, the vision of the person down there. So that's kind of neat. I mean, if you were to live here long term, these places do rent long term, and I've looked online, and the Manor and the Manor 2 are hugely rentable. I think a lot of people like bought them and then said, great, this is a good revenue stream, which it is. It's actually a pretty cool place. I believe they rent for, I think a 2-bedroom is like $600 a month, so that's pretty good. Which would be, what would that be? That would be 120 million dong, I think, or 150 million. regardless, it's a pretty cool spot. And oh, nice bamboo floors, which is really cool. I don't know if you can see that. So anyway, so we're just here like this is our our only full day here. Tomorrow morning we leave at 10 in the morning, I think, and we're heading over to Singapore for a day tomorrow. But for today, it's just 2 days in Ho Chi Minh City, basically, or today is the full day. Yesterday, we cruised over to the Bitexco Tower, and that was neat. You know, I bought tickets online. It was like $18 or whatever, and you go up to the 49th, I think, or 50th floor, and you walk in a circle, and you see the city, and it's kind of cool. It gives you a good idea of what the city looks like. It gives me a great idea of how quickly this city is growing. And not growing in the way that Phu Quoc was growing, right? Because Phu Quoc is just like 100% tourism. It's like resort, 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 resort. How fast can we put resorts in and restaurants and get taxis to bring people here to vacation? But here, it's like just full-on buildings. Like how many buildings can we put up? And for whatever reason, it seems like they put them up in pairs. I don't know why. But there's like those in the distance, man. And it is just amazing how many of them are. And when you drive down the street, there's, you know, the standard fences up, right, that are around the construction sites. And then there's artist rendering of like, hey, here's what's going to look like, what it's going to look like when we're done. And the whole what it's going to look like when it's done is spectacular. I mean, it's just so much better looking than any other large city I've been to, with the exception of Singapore. We're going to Singapore, and I have a feeling this place is going to be one of those cities. They tout a lot of startup sort of culture here, as well as, you know, they say, I love the description they gave, and I'll try and find it, but I think the gist of it was, the older people provide knowledge, the middle-aged have the funding, and then the younger generation has the ideas. You know, so get all those three people together, and you've got a great sort of recipe for a startup, which I tried to find in Bangkok, and I thought it was kind of, you know, it was a little nimble, and it was kind of going that way in Bangkok, but I think it seems like it's going a lot faster. There's a lot more startup-ness happening here in Ho Chi Minh City, so I'm actually digging it. Oh, okay, and then finally, I gotta share this. So Uber, thank you Uber for whatever you've done to penetrate the market in these major cities. I didn't really realize it until we got here. Because if you don't know, with Uber, right, you choose, okay, so here's where I am, pick me up. But one of the things you do before you request the thing, and I don't know if it's necessary, but I always do it, is this is where you're going. And so I always, you know, tell them where we're going to go. Can you even see me if I do this? No, not really. Oh, no, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm not the most important thing. The content hopefully is. But the thing that's really neat is they say, okay, so where are you going? And so you put in where you're going, and the guy picks you up, and we have not yet had anyone who speaks English. They know how to say hello, and they know how to say the destination. And then they know how to say thank you, and basically all I know how to say is thank you in Vietnamese. Come on, which is like come on, you know, but basically it's great because I didn't realize it. I mean, I don't need to speak the local language, which is actually a lousy excuse to just blow it off. But if I were to stay here longer, for sure, I would end up learning Vietnamese to the level, certainly, that I've learned Thai, which is hello, thank you, where do I go, here, there, tina, tini. Anyway, so here, Uber has been a game changer. We used the same thing when we were in Kuala Lumpur, but for whatever reason, it didn't sort of really register. But it's really registering here, how you can like plop yourself down in this city, not know any language, as long as you have your passport and an ATM somewhere, you can survive. Because don't forget, that same card is hooked to Uber, right? So you can get actual cash out of the ATMs. You can have Uber debit your credit card, and you can get around anywhere, and every place accepts Visa, and and if they don't, then they accept cash all day long. So it's really interesting how actually pretty easy it is to do this whole global travel thing when the city has at least a mild degree of modernization going on. So anyway, that's my check-in from Ho Chi Minh City. We're off to check out some places, maybe the zoo, I don't know. I got to figure out a way to mail a postcard to my mom, and I forgot to do that when we were in Phu Quoc, but I don't even know if they had mailboxes there. But they have, one of the tourist attractions here in Ho Chi Minh City is, the World Post Office, the Vietnamese post office, this historical post office, which, as you can tell by my description, it's not very interesting to me, but what's really going to be interesting is walking in and saying, I need to mail this to the United States, and them having an immediate answer and me giving them cash to basically execute that transaction. That'll be cool. Anyway, so from Ho Chi Minh City on the 4th floor of the Manor 2 in District 1, I figured out what the little individual things are. They're districts, and they're not concentric circles. They're actually next to each other. And so sorry for the ignorance earlier. I've discovered that. Thank you, Wikipedia, and thank you, local Vietnamese people. You've been incredibly gracious. I love your country. I love the cities I've been to. I'm coming back. We're coming back. So have an amazing day from Ho Chi Minh City. I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. Ciao.